Greg Studnicky from RelatedISG, welcoming you to another edition of the Insider Series. Today we're with Gina Villanell. Did I say it right?
Perfect.
God, I'm so proud of myself. Nice Italian girl from Long Island, New York, who is without a doubt one of our top producers. I thought it was just Broward County, mostly the western area, East Fort Lauderdale, and she just corrected me that it was a little bit beyond Broward. She's into Palm Beach County as well. Delray and Deerfield and all kinds of lovely towns here in South Florida. So I want to welcome Gina to the Insider Series. Welcome to the Insider Series.
Thank you very much.
Now, the purpose of this, I know I say it every time, but I just like to remind the guests, we are living still in this COVID world with social distancing, and we have over 400 agents that work in the company, and I want them to all get to know a little bit about the people that make up RelatedISG. So this is your chance to let your colleagues know who Gina is. But you also work with realtors that don't work with RelatedISG. If Carolina Gertz does her job right, some of those agents will join RelatedISG one day. I'm kidding, Carolina's here. But I want them to get to know you as well, to get to know a little bit more about you and what makes, because you are an extension of RelatedISG and kind of what makes RelatedISG tick. Because people have choices. And my part of my job is to really grow the company, but I want to grow it organically with some really good people like yourself. So let's start. First of all, tell everybody where you're from, when you moved to Florida, and why. If you get over mind.
I moved here in '87, and I was eager to get down to the beach and be in the sun and the palm trees. I was tired of the winter.
Tired of the winter weather in Long Island, weren't you?
Yes, the weather was too cold for me. Mm-hmm. And I had a girlfriend actually that worked for the airlines, and my trade growing up was hairdressing, cosmetology.
Okay.
So she went on several interviews with the airline that she was going for, and she got the job. I did her hair every day for 2 weeks for her interviews.
Oh my
she said,
goodness.
if I get the job, I want you to be my flying companion. And she got the job. So she brought me down to Florida for free, non-rev, back in the day.
Okay.
And
was that Eastern Airlines, out of curiosity?
It was actually Air Atlanta. It was a daughter airline of United.
Okay. Just curious.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we started coming down. She decided to move here a year later, and I followed her.
Okay.
I loved it.
And your Italian blood loves this warm weather, this climate of South Florida.
I just felt a peacefulness about Florida. South Florida is beautiful.
It does have it's getting a little more crowded, but it still has a much different vibe than where you're from in New York, where I'm from in New Jersey. It's much more tranquil.
Yes. When I moved here, 1,000 people a day were moving here.
Okay.
I remember that statistic.
Wow.
Yes.
God, I don't think I was publishing the Miami report back then, so somebody jumped way ahead of me on that one. Because we've been maintaining close to that probably since 1987. There's a lot of articles written in the last 5-10 years about the daily population growth of Florida. And what they don't realize is what you just said. This is not a new phenomenon.
No.
This has been happening for a long, long time.
Yes, I agree. I have a lot of people coming down right now from up north. You know, just
oh no, we all do right now.
Constantly.
Why real estate? So you got out of cosmetology, easy for me to say, and you got into real estate.
So I got into real estate through one of my hair clients who convinced me that I would probably do really well at it. Mm-hmm. And I took her up on it and studied, took the test, and
sweat through that cram.
Sweated through the cram, the week course.
Oh my God, on those uncomfortable chairs and the fluorescent lights.
So uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But really, really jumped in, and that was at the time that the 2007 and 2008 were hitting. I got licensed in 2006. Okay. And the market fell off.
So you felt like, you were made for this. You were a rock star in 2006 and 2007, and then boom. And then boom. Those weren't headwinds, those were hurricane winds. Yeah.
I was thrown into a learning curve. Mm-hmm. I attended lots of seminars and just learned the back end of short sales and foreclosures. And when I got my feet wet in that, I really started to enjoy it because I met a lot of great people, and Carolina and I connected, and I was very interested in it, so
You stayed with
I
it?
shifted. I stayed with it. I shifted out of the hairdressing, and I got into the real estate.
When did you join RelatedISG?
Almost 5 years ago.
Okay, so Carolina,
Yes.
Carolina was the recruiter.
Yes, she was.
And she promised you a whole bunch of support. She promised that you're going to be with two great brands, Related and ISG, and we've got all this experience. And you'll see wherever she got you from. You'll see we're gonna give you the kind of support you haven't ever experienced. And has she delivered?
She has. Yes, I have the best transaction coordinator on board with me.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
She's wonderful and helps me a lot and helps me to do the background stuff she takes care of, and I can actually be out there with the clients and have that one-on-one.
What a nice feeling to have someone like Yadi, so that when you're out there presenting, all you have to do is do what you want to do.
That's right.
Because you oftentimes probably have already realized you know more about real estate already, because you've been in it now for, if I'm doing the math properly, this is your 14th year in real estate.
Coming up on like 16.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you know more about real estate than you probably realize you know until when someone asks you a question, that 16 years of experience just pops right out.
Absolutely.
And if you're worried about what's going on administratively, that's a little bit of a slower give. When you don't have to worry about that, you're more in flow.
Right.
And, my predecessor, Alice Fidel, and Carolina are the ones that set up these contract administrators in our various offices. And of all the things probably that we put into place to improve the infrastructure of RelatedISG, that's made the biggest difference for all of our agents.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a second pair of eyes on the transaction, and it actually makes my clients feel more secure. Putting money up, putting money in escrow, you want definitely someone to make
Well, let me help you out as well. The better you are at sales, the worse you are at the administrative side of this. So it's very nice to have a pair of eyes like Yadi, making sure that the T's are crossed.
Yeah, she's wonderful.
And the I's are dotted. Tell your colleagues a little bit what last year was like for you. The most horrible year we've ever lived through in our lives. Yeah. And what 2021 has been and what it looks like. Because these are the trends that people really want to hear from experienced people like you.
Yes, lots of changes last year. Rules and regulations we had to comply with, and
like social distancing stuff?
Social distancing, and really the shift in the interest rates and the shift in the inventory or lack of inventory. Getting a listing, it wasn't just going and showing the property anymore, it was setting up open houses. Mm-hmm. You had to make sure you had the proper supplies for people coming in and out. You had to
masks, hand sanitizers,
and you had to sanitize, and the clients appreciated that.
Kind of probably a borderline first responder in a way, didn't you?
Definitely. But it was an easy transition. I mean, I like doing open houses. I think they're great. Bring everyone in at once, and mm-hmm. I was busy. I was steady, and business as usual.
Yeah.
Really for me, just
most of your transactions are houses.
Correct.
Yes. Now, I guess the first half of the year were like almost everybody a little bit slow, especially when we hit March, April, May, when nobody wanted to go out. We were in quarantine, and people were perhaps getting religious and really wondering what the future was going to be. But then by the second half of the year, that's when you became a real expert at open houses, and you started watching the inventory fly as you're watching interest rates drop.
Right. And
more people coming to Florida. Part of that 1,000 a day, where do most of your clients come from? They
come from New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Connecticut.
That great tri-state or quad state area. As I told you, I'm from New Jersey, so most of the times when people refer to New York, they really mean New Jersey, New York, and Connecticut. But Pennsylvania is a big one as well.
Pennsylvania's a big one, yeah.
These folks that are coming from those 4 states for Gina, they're moving here to buy, they're buying second homes, or they're moving here?
They're moving here. They're selling their businesses up north. They're taking advantage of the weather and the tax structure here compared to up there. And the businesses are just being extremely taxed, so they're selling out and coming down. Selling everything and coming down.
Everything. Are any particular age group? Are they baby boomers like me? Are they Generation X, like 40 or 50-year-olds?
40, 50
Yeah.
year olds, yes.
It's interesting, isn't it?
Yes,
Florida's getting
exactly.
younger.
Yes, it
Getting
is.
younger
It
and
is.
younger and younger.
It
It's
is.
much more of a vibrant place. And it excites me to hear this because it means when these folks sell their businesses and come down, they're going to start new businesses. And businesses create a more healthy business environment for everybody eventually. So most of your transactions are still single family homes,
Yes.
would you say?
Yes.
And what's going on with inventory out there?
No inventory. You gave me a statistic a few weeks ago in the meeting. I think our inventory levels were at 9,400, and it dropped in 2 weeks from 9,800 to 9,400.
In the middle of December, it was 9,400. And then by the middle of January, I may have, just to give you perspective, it hit 8,400.
Okay.
So at 9,400, you were at a 12-year low. A month later, you're at a 15-year low.
Yes.
And the reason I'm asking you about inventory is because it's still changing. As of Monday, it was 8,100. So Athena Rossano, who does all of our research for the Miami report, she doesn't know what that means now. She doesn't know if it's an 18-year low, a 20-year low. But when you factor in the growing population base of South Florida and 8,100 houses, Gina, we could be in an all-time low, which makes it challenging for a single-family home specialist.
Very challenging, yes. Very challenging. Your buyers have to be patient. It's just, you have to do your due diligence as the agent, and you have to make sure that they're on board and clear with everything going on through the process.
You were saying earlier before we began that you're getting creative when it
Yes.
comes to selling houses.
Yes.
Explain that to your colleagues. What does creative mean now? Now, in February of 2021, it means something very different now than it probably ever has.
You have to give the seller a little bit more to work with as far as an offer. You're up against many, many offers, and you have to place certain caveats in the offer when you present. So, and I also have noticed that agents are very overwhelmed. They're getting flooded with offers and they have to try to decipher. So you want to make your offer stand out in front of everyone else. A lot of people are waiving inspections.
Okay.
A lot of people are going over the appraised value. And
So it's not subject to appraisals anymore. It's not subject to inspections so much anymore. What you're really doing is you're simplifying the purchase and sale agreement on behalf of the seller.
correct.
You're clearly waving the flag. It's a seller's market.
Choose us, choose us, choose us.
That's it. Okay, I got it. Oh, because it's like a beauty pageant of offers, isn't it?
Exactly,
Yeah.
it really is.
So, final question as we wrap up this particular episode of the Insider Series. Your forecast for the rest of 2021. Where are the buyers coming from? What happens with inventory, with houses? Do people shift to condos? What do you think?
Well, I think a lot of people will continue to look and they will continue to get creative, and I see a strong 2021 coming. I really do. I think the condos, they're offering so many amazing incentives right now for condos. And I do believe that Miami is moving up to Fort Lauderdale, and it's continuing to move up.
That's very true. Miami's very crowded now.
It's very crowded, but Fort Lauderdale is a hot spot right now. I have a lot of clients moving to Melbourne and Cocoa Beach.
Oh my goodness. Well, they want Melbourne and Cocoa Beach. That's Fort Lauderdale 30 years ago. They want those uncrowded conditions.
That's right.
In beautiful Florida climate.
That's right.
So it's still going to be a seller's market for houses, but clearly a buyer's market at the moment for condos. Is that one way of separating
I
this?
believe so, yes.
Yeah.
I agree with that, yes.
And look, I think you're right. I think every mortgage expert out there still projects that mortgage rates are going to stay very low through 2021. No predictions for 2022. They're actually thinking you're going to start seeing those edge up again next year. But this is the year for people to take advantage of those low rates, and you're probably going to see houses lead the parade, with condos making an interesting comeback, is my guess. And Melbourne and Cocoa Beach. Knowing Carolina, she's going to now put in my head, maybe we need to open a RelatedISG office in Melbourne and Cocoa Beach.
Great.
is possible because Carolina usually gets her way. Gina, thank you for being on
Thank
today's
you
show.
for having me.
It's nice to talk to a Long Island girl too.
Thank you.
Folks, thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you next week on the next edition of the Insider Series by RelatedISG. See ya. Bye-bye.